Is it that time again? Yes, it is. The time for another play review. Okay, so let's jump into Oedipus Rex. Um, so, um, background on Sophocles. Although I talked about this in Antigone, born in 497 BC, he wrote about 123 plays, 7 of which still survive. He competed in 30 competitions and won 24 of them, and is the most successful of the Greek playwrights whose works still survive. He competed against Aeschylus and Euripides and added the third actor. He had much more developed characters than like Aeschylus. He had a wealthy family. He did have Aeschylus's extensive military career. I mean, sorry, he didn't. He didn't have Aeschylus's extensive military career. But he did hold a lot of important positions in Greece. The Theban plays, as I discussed in Antigone, were 3 interrelated plays, but they weren't a trilogy. So we had Antigone in the third sequence, but that was written first. Then Oedipus Rex, which came first in sequence, but was written second, and then Oedipus Rex, which was produced posthumously, which was written third, but came second in the sequence. So, those, they were all about Oedipus and the House of Thebes. As I said before, as true for all Greek plays except for the Persians by Aeschylus, all these plays were based on myth, and the Greeks were familiar with myth. All these myths influenced their beliefs, their ideas, their values. These plays influenced a lot of productions, a lot of plays, such as Oedipus by I think it's Seneca. Yeah, and then we have Hamlet, which is definitely influenced by this play. There's been a lot of notable productions. A lot of filmed adaptations, such as I think this one with Laurence Olivier. So Laurence Olivier, let me check. I need to check that. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Oedipus Rex. Yes, it was Laurence Olivier. That was. I'm trying to see who played Jocasta. You know, I don't know which production was this one. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I think I remember there was a production with Claire Bloom. Or was that Oedipus? Oh yeah, so Oedipus the King. That was a movie. But Laurence Olivier was not in that. Oh, I was thinking of John Gielgud, and he played Tiresias. Okay. Alright, so, and Claire Bloom was... Question for anybody who's watching, is it Jocasta or Icosta? Because it's written with a J, but I've seen her name written with an I before. So, how do you pronounce her name? It's a Greek name. Jocasta. I'm guessing it's Jocasta, but it could be Icosta. I don't know. Just want to get that question answered. I learned from you guys. You learned from me. So 429 BC, Britain, Greece, classical tragedy. Thebes has been struck by a plague. The citizens are dying. They don't know what to do. And Oedipus asks this priest why the citizens have gathered around the palace. And the priest responds that the city is dying and asks Oedipus to save Thebes. And he sees all these terrible things that are happening, and he sent his brother-in-law, Creon, and to Delphi to get the oracle on how to stop the plague. And when Creon arrives, he asks what the oracle said, and Creon asks Oedipus if he wants to hear the news in private, but Oedipus says, no, everyone should hear. So he says that the murdered Laius, who ruled Thebes before Oedipus, is in Thebes, and he must be driven out in order for the plague to be ended. So Creon goes and he tells the story of Laius' murder, and how Laius and all but one of his fellow travelers were killed by thieves, and Oedipus asks why Thebes didn't make any attempt to find murderers, and Creon's like, well, we were more concerned with the curse of the Sphinx. So I forgot to mention this. There was a curse with the Sphinx, which Oedipus solved, and background, Oedipus marries Jocasta and becomes ruler of Thebes. She's widowed. She was married to Laius. So the chorus enters. They call on the gods to save Thebes, and Oedipus comes back and tells the chorus that he will end the plague himself, and he says that he's going to look for them. So Tiresias and a little boy come. Tiresias is a blind prophet, and we saw him in Antigone. Old man blind. And Oedipus begs him to reveal Laius' murder. And Tiresias says that you should know the truth. And Oedipus is kind of confused and he's angry. And then he's like, just telling you what you know. And he insults him. And then Tiresias begins to hint at something and basically tells Oedipus that he is the curse. And then he says, yeah, you're the murderer. And Oedipus criticizes Tiresias and his blindness, and basically tells him to screw off. The chorus is trying to calm down Oedipus. And then Tiresias says, Oedipus asks about the truth of his parentage, and again Tiresias only answers in riddles, saying the murder of Laius will turn out to be both brother and father to his children, both son and husband to his mother. This further confuses Oedipus, and Creon enters. For some reason, Creon is accused by Oedipus that he is the murderer, and he wants to get rid of him. Then Jocasta, or Icosta, however it's pronounced, enters, and she says he shouldn't kill or exile Creon. And then Creon leaves, and then Oedipus explains to her what's going on, and he asks her what she knows, and she tells him, and he's curious about learning more. She tells him that Laius was killed at a three-way crossroad just before Oedipus arrived in Thebes, and he starts thinking maybe he killed Laius, and she tries to reassure him that this is not so, and so he sends for his shepherd, who's the only man who survived the attack. And eventually the shepherd comes and first there's this messenger. I forgot to say that. First the messenger comes and say that Oedipus's father, Polybus, is dead. And that in Corinth wants Oedipus to rule there. And then, so Oedipus, Jocasta tells Oedipus, oh, so your father died of natural causes. Therefore, you're not going to kill your father. And the prophecy was false. But, then the messenger, tells Oedipus that Polybus and his wife were not Oedipus' natural parents. And he said that he used to be a shepherd. Guess what? He's the shepherd that was there at the scene. I'm sorry, no, what am I saying? No, sorry. He was a shepherd. I'm just reading my notes wrong. He was a shepherd. He found Oedipus, and, he took him away. Now they're looking for another shepherd who can find who the natural parents are. So they get this other shepherd. I totally forgot about this shepherd. And he comes and identifies the man. He's like, okay, yeah, this is the man who gave him young Oedipus. So everything's confirmed totally. Some questions come up, and then he answers that he has Lace his child, and of course enters and Jocasta exits, and she kills herself, and then Oedipus finds himself, and of course sees Oedipus, and then Creon comes in and basically exiles Oedipus. So, but not before he talks to his young daughters, Antigone and Ismene. This is why I'm talking so fast. Don't drink Red Bull, kids. Okay. So, characters. Let's talk about characters. Oedipus. Definitely the tragic hero here, definitely the protagonist. His error is his pride. You see pride in Antigone, you see pride in Agamemnon, you see pride here. Hubris is a recurring tragic flaw. People in high places, people who are kings, have pride. And it is that pride that, like when they try to have too much pride, they think they're gonna get up too high, that the gods will punish them because they think that they're getting too high and close to the gods. So, that's the thing we have to know about pride. Oedipus, is very determined. He's, a much better guy. Much better guy than, Creon or, Agamemnon. He is haunted by his past, as all these characters are. They've done something, or in the play, or in their past, and this haunts them. Jocasta, we see her being motherly towards Oedipus. She's much older than Oedipus, even though she's the way she looks after him too much. Her concern, the way she talks to Oedipus, there is that motherly tone. And then we have Creon, who takes charge. He is the new force in the play who comes in, who purges out the old. He comes in and then takes over. Like in Shakespearean plays, always the character comes at the end. Well, he's not the end character. He's definitely in the play, but he is where the cycle will continue. So Oedipus's pride and Creon takes over, and then Creon's pride and Antigone. So you see the cycle of pride and kings just continue. So first he's not going to be prideful. First he's going to try to be a good king, and then he's going to make a mistake, as all rulers do, as all humans do. Tiresias, Fine Prophet, sees the truth within, and when you talk about blind as other characters, messengers, priests, shepherds, all these are minor characters who bring in news. The chorus is again, patriarchal, but this play is less about gender and more about sexual stuff. So, let's talk about sex. Sex. Get into like the psychoanalysis of this play. The whole Freudian psychoanalytic theory of the Oedipus complex is based on this play, in Hamlet actually. More Hamlet than this, but Hamlet ties in with this play. And we'll talk about this more when we get to Hamlet, but what we see here is Oedipus basically killed his father and married his mother. But and the theory of psychoanalysis is that all young boys want to kill their father and marry their mother. Why? I guess there's a competition between a father and a son, and he wants to have something that his father has. His father's reward, his father's pride and joy, what his father won over sexually. And he wants to win his mother over sexually and take what the father has to prove his manhood. That's my spin on it. It's what I've learned from psychology. But so Oedipus tries to prove his manhood by murdering the king, his father, marrying his mother, and prove his manhood, and then prove his worthiness. And we see again both regicide and patricide, as in slash matricide. We see killing of parents. We see the killing of a king, which occurred in Agamemnon and well, the Orsai in general. How the son killed the mother in Libation Bears. The king was killed by Clytemnestra and Agamemnon. Oh, and Antigone came on wanted to kill Creon. So a lot of this killing of the king, killing of the queen, and the killing of the parents, all this comes up. Killing somebody in a high place, killing somebody above you. To prove your manhood, to prove your worthiness. So that's a psychoanalytical spin. So I wouldn't say it's just about sex. I think it's more about proving something. It's about establishing yourself. And it's all backed up by Oedipus's pride. So blindness knowledge. Oedipus thinks he is so wise. He sees the truth. And yet, he doesn't really see his deep dark secret. He saw the person in the Sphinx. He saw all that. He thought he knew all, but he couldn't see within himself. He saw the outside. He couldn't see within. And that's why he had the symbols and blindness. When you can, often people look out and they perceive the world around them, but they do not look within themselves and judge themselves. So prophecy. Again, we have prophecies in all these plays, and it's a constant reminder the gods are at work. The gods are all powerful. Then we move on. I guess truth and fate. You can't avoid your fate. That's gonna come after you, and there's no way of avoiding it. And I did talk about hubris and tragedy. So positive things about this play. Definitely, probably one of I'd say it's the best Greek tragedy I've read. That and Antigone, actually, both of them. Actually, some of the best tragedies I've read is too, especially Antigone. I'd say Antigone tops it. I like Antigone. Because this play is also philosophical. And, so any play that opens up discussion is philosophy and perspective rather than just plot is important. The plot is very well structured. Excellent symbolism. Really developed characters. Negative, I'd say it's very predictable. It just foreshadows a lot, and there's no surprise within this play. For Greeks, they knew the myth, so it didn't matter that it was going to be surprising. But for us as a modern audience, we don't all study Greek myth, and it's just, we know right away that Oedipus is the killer of Laius and Sophocles' mom. So, it doesn't add, there's no surprise to this play. I don't think that's the writer's fault. I mean, it's just, when it was written, myth was so influential that everyone knew the story of it. It's like if you live in the Bible Belt and people just know those stories of the Bible. So, but as I said, for a modern audience, it's just too predictable. And it's just not the greatest read for audiences because of that. I would say the cast is, again, big, I mean, medium-sized. I'd say medium-sized, like all Greek plays. But it can be downsized with a smaller chorus. It wouldn't be as effective if you doubled characters in downsized chorus. So, and yeah, that's all we have for Oedipus Rex. And tomorrow we'll be moving on to Medea by Euripides. Alright, thank you for watching, guys. Bye!